Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. I am your host, Stacy Brown.
And peace and love, everybody. I'm your co-host, Niele Anderson. It's day 8 of a U.S. government shutdown. And of course, we have the headlines that are empowering, inspire, and impacting the Black experience. So let's get to it, Stacy.
Yeah, let's get to it. Let's see what our producer has for us this morning.
Like your white counterparts do. It bothers me that you never graced the cover of Variety magazine. The Hollywood Reporter, Rolling Stone. And no disrespect to these people, but we've seen Clive Davis, Scooter Braun. We see Kris Jenner and what she did with the Kardashians. What has always bothered me is the fact that you literally have done the work to create the biggest selling girl group of all time, the last girl group to have a #1 hit on Billboard Hot 100 with the song Bootylicious. Your daughter Beyonce was just awarded the greatest pop star of the 21st century. You do not get the props you deserve, and it bothers me.
Yeah, I agree with you totally, and you know.
There's a lot to be said there. Matthew knows he is responsible for Destiny's Child and naturally for Beyonce. And the thing about it, and I think this has been said on this program before, is that we got to stop looking to Variety and Billboard and Rolling Stone and stuff for our validation. He's right. Does he deserve all of that? If you could put a Kardashian on there, you certainly should put Matthew Knowles on there. But does it really matter anymore? We have our own stuff. I wish, and this is going to sound selfish, but I wish they would be more concerned with being recognized by the Black press, recognized by the NAACP, recognized by when he was alive, Don Cornelius and Soul Train. And stop worrying about these other folks. You've made, you guys have made your millions, your billions, and you've made your mark that they can't take away. And we are the ones who are trying to make sure to preserve that history so they won't erase it. So your great-great-grands will know about your accomplishments.
Yeah, I think, you can have both. You can have, the Black, okay, so let's talk Black media. They haven't really given him his recognition. So he might have named the Hollywood Reporter, but
but it goes both ways, right?
But yeah, but I get it. I think it could be both. I think both are right. Black-owned media hasn't really given Matthew Knowles his props, and neither has white. And I think that's the bigger point. Everybody knows who made the Jackson 5, Joe Jackson. And so, Matthew Knowles on Black-owned media, white-owned media, he gets pushed to the back. Stephanie Humphreys, you said, I believe we are on day 9. Well, according to CNN, it says we are 8 days, 8 hours, 9 minutes, and 34 seconds into a shutdown.
I'm going with Stephanie Humphreys over CNN. I'm telling you right now. But listen, let me tell you something.
It's a ticker. They have a ticker.
It's a ticker.
Count down.
but Niele, you mentioned Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson was featured with the Jacksons on Right On, Jet. It was Black press. It was Black media, right?
Okay. Well,
and they were happy with that. Joe was very happy with
Black
that.
Black media should honor Matthew.
Right. So my point with that, and I don't disagree with you to an extent. My point is that how many times have Matthew Knowles answered the phone or his assistants or whoever and said, agreed to do an interview with Black-owned media?
He did it with the LA Sentinel. So he does.
That is, and so Danny Bakewell, who has probably more power than any of the publishers in the Black press, maybe Danny could make that happen.
But how many have reached out to him?
Matthew has been on this show.
Okay.
So yeah, you're right, Greer. He has been on this show. But what I'm saying, Greer, And yeah, it's not about Matthew. It's about the bigger picture, all of them, right? Matthew has been on the show, and I'm glad you reminded me of that. But I'm saying Joe Jackson and the Jacksons, when they were coming up, it was all about the Black media. You know, they made it a point. Barry made it a point that all of his people were going to start with the Black media. And you don't see that is what I'm saying anymore. I get that interview and that interviewer's point, and Variety and all of them. We just have to stop looking to them for any type of recognition. I mean, Matthew has, like King Richard, right? He's earned his stripes. King Richard being the Williams sisters' dad. They named the movie King Richard, right? But
you're talking about Venus and Serena, the pro tennis players. Their father, yes.
They have earned. Matthew has earned this as much as, you know, Beyonce is the biggest star of the 21st century. There's no debating that. You can say Taylor Swift all you want, but there's no debating that. Not in my book. And I'm not even a Beyonce fan, but you got to give props where it is. And Matthew deserves some of that credit for sure. And he should be honored in that way, the way we've seen others honored.
Most 100%, and I think it's across the board. I just think it's across the board. I think Black-owned media should honor him. I think Variety. I think Carlos King had a point. And to that point, what you see now is Tina Knowles getting all those accolades and credit.
Yeah,
you see Tina in Variety.
You do.
You see her in the Hollywood Reporter. You see her in those spaces that Carlos King is talking about. And so I think part of that too is because of what happened internally, because once, you know, the extra baby came out and the other women, Matthew Knowles kind of fell back. And then, you know, Tina Knowles had a rebirth because she was right there next to him. And she's kind of, you know, taking her ownership in that conversation of making Beyonce, making Destiny's Child. So she is, and to the point, I think that Tina Knowles does an excellent job of being in both worlds. She's very dedicated to Black-owned media, amplifying Black-owned media.
Oh, she is,
and in Black media spaces, but she's also in those white spaces too. And so that's what I mean about being, you know, both. It's okay to do both.
But you have too many. You have too many, and Tina Knowles obviously is not one of them. You have too many who will shun Black-owned media for white media. You have too many of them, and hopefully, especially with the way things are going now, hopefully they, you know, folks will start coming home.
Right.
So Grizz getting on me because I said I'm not a Beyonce fan. She know I'm not a Beyonce fan. I'm not a hater at all. Stephanie Humphrey says I'm not a Beyonce fan either. But I can't, in no way can anybody, fan or not fan, take away what she's accomplished.
Right, for sure. And I mean, I think Beyonce does a great job too of being in white and Black spaces. As to how she brands herself, as to the people she talks to. But hey, let's be real. This is a white man's world. And if you want those big budgets, if you want that extra push, you're going to have to know how to pivot both. And I think that the Knowles family, I'm talking about Beyonce, Tina, and Matthew Knowles are dedicated to that. But I think a lot of things that happen within that family relationship and Matthew Knowles dipping out and stuff, he kind of fell back. And so, you know, that's why. But I mean, I would love to see. I want him to get his flowers and not at a funeral. You know, give him his flowers now.
That's what Quinn just said. Give that man his flowers. And Greer makes this point. We know that this is has always been part of the problem. He says that their white publicists are often the ones controlling most of that anyway. I think most Black artists want to be seen by their people. And it's true, but they put these folks in place, and you know, there's no charging order though. You got to give them a charging order. You got to say, hey, it's like when Stephanie Mills came on. Stephanie's been on like 3 or 4 times, right? And the first time I remember her coming on, and it was during the pandemic, and she was saying how all these folks calling, And when we called, and she heard we called, and her guy Amp didn't tell her that we had called. And when she found out, she was like, "Are you crazy?" She canceled a CNN interview to come on with us. She's like, "No, Black people first. We need more of that. Okay. We need a lot more of that." But you know, I'm in agreement. Give Matthew his due, as y'all say, his flowers. You and Quinn want to give the man flowers. What you're gonna give him? Roses?
I mean, just, you know, acknowledgement for, you know, that man, he almost lost his job, almost went bankrupt, to make sure that Destiny's Child came to, you know, be what it is, which is Beyonce. Yeah, well, you know, that was Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
But you know, give him his flowers. You know, Tina is definitely living in her. She's swimming in roses. Okay, Matriarch book, #1 time bestseller. You know, she is really like, we don't need to hear from Beyonce. We'll just let Tina tell us.
I can't believe I heard you say we don't need to hear from Beyonce.
I mean,
know
we
the
don't,
context.
because Tina gonna tell it. Tina gonna let you know. You know, Beyonce sends her messages through her mama.
She said Tina,
and she lets Solange fight. She lets Solange fight the battles. So
Solange packs. She packs a punch, huh?
Yeah, she fights the battles, and Tina is the mouthpiece.
It's an interesting thing, folks. This morning, Donald Trump has called for the arrest of Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. He's escalated these political tensions, and as he continues to attempt to send federal troops to Chicago. He has put some. Who's it? Where did he send troops to Chicago from? Was it Oregon?
Texas, I believe.
Texas. Yeah.
Some of them came from California too. We rerouted some of the National Guard from California as well. So we don't know what they're doing. They don't tell us. They lie so much. They might even be Klansmen and just gave them the uniforms to put on.
Well, that's probably true. Unfortunately, as we talked about before.
Literally,
right. We've talked about they're just grabbing folks, deputizing folks who was in the 9/11 January 6th situation, insurrection. We know Proud Boys, all of those folks that he gave the get out of jail free card to.
Yeah, we don't know who those people are, but I know that yesterday Donald Trump posted, tweeted or Truth Socialed it. I don't know what he's doing on social media, but he said Chicago mayor should be in jail, trying to protect ICE agents, ICE officers. And Mayor Brandon Johnson responded, "This is not the first time Trump has tried to have a Black man unjustly arrested. I'm not going anywhere."
Yep.
But they say, clock it.
And that's, you know, when I saw, and some people highlighted that comment, right? Put it in bold and big letters because of how it resonates. And it's true. What the mayor said there about Trump wanting to lock up another Black man. You know, it's just his history. And we know what happened with the Central Park 5, the exonerated 5.
Yeah, and I think that's what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm. And even after their exoneration, he continued to double and triple down on these young men.
Yeah, and aren't they suing him? They're suing him, right?
Yeah.
Trump tried to get it thrown out of court, and the judge said no, it's going to move forward. So hopefully they have their day in court and they get justice, because what Donald Trump did to those Black young men at the time is racist and right in line in how he's ruling this nation. And so I hope that they're able to remind America just how disgusting Donald Trump is. It's to people of color.
Yeah, he took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for their execution. And even after they were found to have been railroaded and not guilty, totally innocent, not just not guilty, but totally innocent, he still doubled and tripled down on that. So that is Donald Trump in a nutshell.
Yeah, I'm glad Mayor Johnson reminded us of that. It's not the first time that he's known that that's not true. But I'm just gonna pick on Black people because I can.
Yeah, Stephanie Humphrey says,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson are standing firm, and she loves it.
Yeah, and see what'll happen is just like here in California, he'll go away, and I think that's why you see Stephen Miller going down to Memphis and stuff, because that is a Republican-led state, but the mayor of Memphis is Black, so you don't have a unified front there. So they're going to pick on the weak, just like during that time with the exonerated five. They were vulnerable, and he preyed on that, and that's what white folks do. White racist folks do, not all white folks, but racist white. They prey on the least of these.
There you have
the
it.
have-nots.
And speaking of the have-nots, with the shutdown, there's no official jobs report, but private firms are filling the gap. ADP says 32,000 jobs were cut in September. Bank of America reports more unemployment payments. Goldman Sachs shows jobless claims rising, and the Carlyle Group says hiring slowed and construction and wages fell. And the White House also noted that many furloughed workers, including a bunch of Black workers, probably won't get paid at all.
Right. But, as we continue to look at the news and seeing what's happening with these airports, I think that might be something that they didn't anticipate. That's going to be a huge problem for them, especially depending on how this shutdown continues with the holiday seasons coming up, people moving around. It could be tragic, and it could be dangerous, and it could just be long waits.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, I think with ADP and Bank of America and Goldman Sachs and the Carlyle Group putting out their own analysts with the jobs report, we already know that a couple months ago, Trump was really upset, had to change his diaper because his own BLS report showed that they were hemorrhaging jobs left and right. And no, we're not going to put that information out anymore. And now you have the private companies putting out the real information. So you can't go by what the government puts out anymore. You just can't.
I mean, we were, talking about recalls and things like that. It's the actually, Tyson Chicken or the cheese company or the pasta company that's forcing them to put out information because people are dying and getting sick, and the government is not saying anything about it. So they have to force their hand and say, if you don't do it, we have to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because before you know it, hundreds of people will start dying because nobody said it. So same things with these jobs. You have to look to the state to give out their reports. You have to look at the companies to give out their reports, because this current government administration is just not going to do it.
Not going to do it. America's lifelines also are unraveling, Niele. A new Urban Institute report finds that 1 in 3 nonprofits lost or had their government funding frozen in the first half of 2025. 21% lost funding outright. 27%, I should say, saw payments delayed, and 6% received stop work orders. And the hardest hit were the large organizations that serve our most vulnerable. They saw over half their funding disrupted. So this is what's happening in the good old USA.
Oh yeah. Just yesterday they released a report about how the Trump administration was cutting a lot of Latino school programming and federal funding, and it said Hispanic and it said others, and so I was assuming the others was us. They want to, because they know that if we say Latino, everybody else not gonna get so mad, and then we'll call the Black folks other and kind of bury it in there. But at the end of the day, if we haven't learned with this ICE situation, it's not about them. They always at the end of the day is going to come for us, whether it is, our livelihood, our funding, whatever the situation is. And so I'm really I really feel bad for these nonprofits who are depending on federal government money and even state money, because a lot of the state money is based upon what they get from the federal government for their budgets. And so this impact continues to hurt and cripple nonprofit organizations.
Yeah, it's this, as we've said, what this administration has and is doing is an all-out attack on American people. And we haven't seen this at all, certainly not from within, but we haven't seen foreign governments attack America the way this administration is attacking America.
And what makes it so scary about these nonprofits is, okay, so you have the federal funding cut and frozen. And then when you have your private donors, might be corporations or things, Trump has cut out DEI. So you can't even really, like, if you can't get the federal money, you can't really go to these Bank of Americas and get that guilt money that they used to have. I remember when I was working in radio, a lot of times when I was sitting in those sales meetings, they would say, let's go after the guilt money. And the guilt money was the community money, right? Mm-hmm. It was community money back then. Then it turned into DEI money. And so Trump has put the freeze on corporations for the DEI money that even Black media gets, right? That money is gone from corporations. And I'm talking about like General Motors, Tyson Foods, banking. It's gone. So you can't get the federal money, can't get the corporate money. And that is going to really impact our local communities.
Yeah, without question. And you see those charts, and it is it's a terrible time to be an American, to live in America.
To be look, we thought we was free, but
nah, you thought wrong. Well, the Washington Post decided to do something that we've been talking about forever, right? They went around the world slicing up east, west, north, and south, even studying Paris and London just to confirm what Black folks have lived for generations. The poorest parts of every city are where we were pushed, downwind, dumped on, and left to breathe, and what the factories spewed out. The smoke didn't just choke our air, it choked opportunity. And white folks moved west to fresh air and fresh starts while we were boxed in by red lines and broken promises. So they have determined through this study, Niele, that white folks went away from the pollution and we were forced to stay in the polluted areas in America and abroad.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Biden's infrastructure bill was supposed to be correcting. Where, we were thriving and they built highways through our cities, or to your point, built factories. I mean, that's happening right now. The NAACP is suing I think it's Tesla for building like some AI plant, and it's taking up, or it might be Meta, and it's taking up all the energy. I mean, they continue to do that. And Biden's bill was addressing that in a huge way. Now that's gone.
And it's gone. It was one of the most significant bills that we've seen in a long, long time, that infrastructure bill. And we were finally going to see, and a lot of these communities get some relief. But now, of course, like you said, it's gone.
Right.
Because of this all-out war against America.
Right. And they were doubling down on the impact that it had on Black communities. Pete Buttigieg, wasn't he the what was he the secretary of? He was
transportation.
Right. And infrastructure fell under that tremendously. And so he was going around the country. I remember when he came here to Crenshaw, had a chance to interview him. And, he was really addressing the impact of what happened in America to Black communities. And he was very intentional. He understood the assignment that former President Biden gave him to address those issues, and making sure, not just addressing them, but making sure the funding and the allocations were given to like Black construction workers and companies. And all of that now is just gone.
Yeah, it is gone. Mike V says this is what we call digital colonialism. Neil. Digital colonialism.
Okay.
I'll get it right eventually. Carletta Davis, RNG says Carletta Davis, an environmental justice activist pushed into politics by water neglect in her hometown of Pritchard, Alabama, was just elected the city's first Black woman mayor. And that's good news. And Quinn says infrastructure in the U.S. should be the best in the world, no question.
Right. It should.
And that was the goal of the infrastructure bill. That infrastructure bill was truly a big, beautiful bill.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
Right. A few more headlines we got to get to. And we talked about this story a lot with comedy and like what the WTH. But finally captured after 5 months, Derrick Groves has been found hiding in Atlanta. And according to U.S. Marshals, he was the last of the 10 inmates who escaped a New Orleans jail back in May. So he was captured.
I thought they forgot about him.
I would have hoped he would have been in Canada or Mexico by now. But if you are just in Atlanta, you should have been captured. Okay, look, and he looks happy. He said, "I got a good 5 months in."
He got right. It's been 5 months, right?
Yeah, and a lot of the rumors over the past 5 months is that he had went underground and was dressing as a woman. But it doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it. It looked like he was just chilling.
You know, it looked like he was just chilling. Okay.
But you know, when they were capturing these folks, they were arresting so many others as well for aiding them. I would imagine now that this guy's in custody, you're going to see more arrests. Because come on, somebody's had to be.
Somebody saw him at the liquor store. And you know what it was? It's a reward. Somebody gonna get a check for that. Remember, there's a reward out for his life, so somebody's getting a check.
Look, Mike V said he would have been better off being deported by ICE.
Claudette Perry says breaking: Doug Williams is now co-owner of the Washington Commanders.
Oh, yay! Wow, Doug, the Super Bowl champion, the first Black Super Bowl quarterback, first Black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, Doug Williams. With the
he went to Grambling State University.
Yes, didn't he coach them as well?
Yes, he did. I think right after Eddie Robinson, he was the next coach. Maybe.
So that is some great. That's some nice breaking news there. So the Commanders, they're going back to DC, which they should be in DC. Yeah, I've always said I hate because the Jets and the Giants, in New York, they don't play in New York. They play in New Jersey. The Commanders, Washington football team, they've always kept the name Washington, but they play in Maryland. And I've always hated that about, I'm not a Redskin or a Commanders fan, but the fact is they should be in Washington, even if they have to stay at RFK until they build something better. They should be in Washington, D.C. But that's great news. Doug Williams.
And he'll be in the box with Magic Johnson now, because Magic Johnson is also part owner of the Washington Commanders.
There you have it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's head over to Tennessee, where one of the Tennessee Three, I'm talking about Rep. Justin Pearson, is running for Congress. He made his announcement this week to represent none other than Memphis. And this is the only seat Democrats currently control in Tennessee after Republican gerrymandering. And so I think he has a really good shot. The current Congress member is like in their 70s. And as we talk about how these older politicians need to let the young ones come in, I think he's one of the young ones that need to be in Congress.
Well, he has made a name for himself, and he's made a name for himself as a fighter for what's right. And that is important.
Yeah. And what they did to him and the other Justin was just horrific. It was horrible. Very racist, to where they had to rerun for them seats. Even though, we love the white woman, there were really no repercussions for her. They all fell on the two Black men. And when that was happening, I think that really, racism was on full display.
Yeah, you're talking about Representative Johnson, Gloria Johnson. What we will say about her is the fact that that's what an ally looks like, though.
For sure, she definitely stood 10 toes down. It wasn't her fault,
right?
But they just showed us how, they protected her to a sense, and then they made it harder for the two Black young men, but they still won their seats back. But the way that they disrespect them in chambers and on the floor to this day, the psychological impact that it has on those Black men, I hate that for them, that they have to go in there and constantly every day, even this morning, prove themselves and fight with white men to make sure that people just have can be safe, because it all started from gun violence. They were advocating for the people for that school shooting that happened in their town. Yep. And they were fighting for the people, and they were just so disrespected by those white folks.
Yeah.
So he's ready for the fight. Let's send him to and so this is where you don't have to live in Tennessee or Memphis to support him as a candidate. You can donate to his campaign, buy financial resources, or you could be here in California making calls for him to make sure that he gets to Washington, if that's your choice.
Mike V says a Justin and a Jasmine Crockett and a Summer Lee. Man, listen.
I mean, let's go. And then remember, we announced that Cori Bush is running again. And so let's get her back up there as well.
Yeah, and Megan 11 says these are the kind of brothers we need out here running.
For sure. Moving on, let's talk about a little civil rights and AI. So Bernice King and Robin Williams,
yes,
they're asking fans to stop it. Stop
I don't blame them.
AI videos of their father. I have seen Dr. Martin Luther King promote Hennessy. Yep. I have seen him DJ with a gold chain. Yep. And I'm like, where is this coming from? I wish we could see one of those videos of Dr. King DJ at a party.
And there's Michael Jackson working at Walmart.
Tupac.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Dr. King. Yeah. Now right. Tupac and Michael Jackson do not compare to Dr. King.
No, but we also in the same. No, they don't. But we also talk about Robin Williams too. And really, the bottom line is as you said, their families are saying, stop it. It's just crazy.
Stop. Why? I don't want to see on MLK Day Dr. King promoting your party. I don't want to see it. Look at that.
Look at
that picture.
It's so disrespectful.
It is the most disrespectful thing. Mike V says, I still have a dream, Niele. You know what? Look at that. That's what I'm talking. Look at that.
I know.
They have Dr. King. And one of them he has on a gold chain.
Yeah, exactly. And right, Dr. Marilyn, they should sue. This is Ted Cruz of all people was talking about AI and how it's gone too far as well. But it's so disrespectful. I mean, they have these other things that are humorous with the little babies singing and acting, and they make like a little baby Martin Lawrence or whatever. That's funny. And Martin Lawrence will probably.
That's the soft launch.
That's the soft launch. Exactly. But I'm sure Martin Lawrence probably and people like that probably look at it and laugh and enjoy it. They are live, right? These are, you talk about King, and if you want to just keep it at King, you're talking about a civil rights champion, an icon, and how they took his life, and then they're putting him in stuff that he never, it's nothing wrong. I'm pretty sure Martin Luther King saw nothing wrong with DJing, but it's just a bad light. It's so disrespectful to do stuff like that.
It's not even in context of who he was and what he did, and then when you look at them trying to compare Charlie Kirk, and want to put Charlie Kirk in schools as a civil rights icon, I just think, and then you think about Donald Trump releasing those files, which basically fell flat. Whatever he thought he was supposed to accomplish by releasing those FBI files on Dr. King, it fell flat. Nobody bit. So they continually try to chomp down the meaning of what he did for this country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What Dr. King did, well, really what the Big Six did, you know what I'm saying? What they did was monumental, and it is a part of the fabric of America. And it seems like they are just trying to water that all down and make him look, he's not as relevant as he is to this country. And that's disheartening.
It shows you too, you know, they're just like social media, just like the internet, it's a purpose that can be good, but it can also be evil. And AI can, it shows you the dangers of AI, this stuff, right? Like this. For sure.
And so moving on, let's head over to Michigan. Oh, no, let's go to Walmart.
Okay.
I mean, since we're talking about AI, this is interesting. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon says the retail giant will keep its current staff size steady, meaning it is seizing all new hires for at least 3 years while investing heavily in automation and AI to reshape the job industry worldwide. And so no more hiring, you know, give or take a few, but they are really taking a deep dive into AI. And so in 3-4 years, you might see robots.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a surprise. You said 3-4 years, if it's even sooner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, we've seen computers take jobs. Now we're seeing AI decimate the job industry, and Walmart saying no new hires for at least 3 years.
Right.
Wow. That's
as they build
something.
their AI infrastructure and automation, you know, infrastructure.
Ooh, where are we going with all this?
And see what they're doing too. I think they're tightening up because, you know, now when you go to the grocery store, you could do self-checkout. Well, they're trying to refine that because what they realized, what a lot of people was putting 3 in the bag and scanning. You put 3 in the bag and you scan 1. And so they're trying to refine that approach, which is probably where we're going to see the robots. And, you know, let's be clear. Don't be surprised in 5 to 7 years if you start seeing robots with guns. And that's when stuff is really going to get scary.
Well, you know, and like you said, people scanning. Look, I've always told my family, you go into one, even if it's not a self-checkout, but certainly self-checkout, get the receipts. Black folks, get your receipts. Get your receipts. Because they have accused folks of who've actually bought stuff.
Right.
Of not paying for it. So who've actually paid for it, not pay. So get your receipts.
Right.
And if that machine doesn't spit out a receipt, you stand there, you call over a live person and say, listen, I need a receipt before I walk out these doors.
Right. So let's talk a little governor politics. And let's start with Governor Gavin Newsom because, we'll go to Governor Gretchen Whitmer. No problem. Let's go to Michigan, where Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed a new bill budget this week that removes Michigan state tax income on tips, overtime pay, and social security benefits. I think this is a huge win for the working class.
Yeah. You know,
we
spoke with Governor Whitmer last year in Chicago, and she was a really nice conversation we had with her. And it seems like, especially when you consider politicians, seems like this is a genuine person who really wants the greater good.
For sure. I mean, for servers in the hospitality business, I mean, to not have your tips tax, that's huge. Right. For working class people who work overtime, that money means a lot. To not have that tax, big win for them. And so this is what it looks like when, you know, the federal government won't do it. You know, there is a governor that might have your back, and she's definitely one of them. Yeah. And then moving on to California, I was going to start with Governor Gavin Newsom because when we were talking about AI, he just literally signed a bill as well for Hollywood workers that they can't use AI when it comes to acting and writing, because that's another industry where jobs will be taken away. if AI is used. So that was a huge bill that he signed for Hollywood. But what Black folks is looking at this weekend is these reparation bills. Now, Newsom has several reparations bills from the Road to Repair package sitting on his desk. They've been sitting there for a while. And he has until this Sunday, October 12th, to sign or veto them. And it'll be interesting how he responds to these packages, because this is huge for the reparations community, these bills. Because remember, he told them that he didn't want to sign Steve Bradford's bill. So he told the Black legislators to not vote on it. So now the session has restarted. Now they have presented their bills, and we'll see if he signs them or not.
Has he said anything recently about these bills?
He hasn't said anything, but there are stories going around that he doesn't really want to touch reparations because he's running for president. And as we see, he is trying to stay in middle America. So he's not really trying to piss off, white folks that say reparate. We're beyond that. You know what I'm saying? But and he's not really. I don't think he's really big on Black voters as a lot of other politicians are. I think he's looking to the Latino vote. The way he moves, he's looking at the Latino vote to help push him over. So it'll be interesting. But I tell you what, I talked to some of my reparations friends yesterday here in California, and if he don't sign some of them bills by Sunday, come Monday, baby.
Okay.
They gonna have a lot to say.
So Gavin's on the hot seat over there.
He's on the hot seat. And finally, for all of you who love the Rose Bowl and the Rose Parade, it's been announced Magic Johnson has been named the 2026 Grand Marshal of the 137th Rose Parade.
Okay.
Now, do you watch the Rose Parade?
Not really, no.
No. I mean, it's a big deal here.
It is a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. I think nationwide, because it's affiliated to the Rose Bowl, which is one of the big college bowls. Mm-hmm. So, there you have it.
Yeah, didn't it used to be that the Rose Parade took place around the time of the Rose Bowl game?
Did who?
The Rose Parade took place at about the same time as the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, for sure.
Game.
Yeah, I think the Rose Bowl game is on New Year's Day.
Right.
Is it New Year's Day? And so the Rose Parade is the same.
Yeah, they call the Rose Bowl the granddaddy of all the bowls. So.
Mm-hmm. And the Rose Parade is like, it kicks it off. People.
Yeah, it used to determine that game used to determine the national champion, but now, of course, years ago they went to this whole playoff system and whatever, and so it's just about for the schools. It's just about getting to any bowl game because that means money. So,
yeah. So those are
they gotta let Magic lead it.
Yeah, I mean he should. I mean, think about it. He's connected to the Lakers. He's a part owner of the Dodgers. He does a lot here in Los Angeles. And so at one time they were looking at him to run for mayor, and he was even considering it. But then, Karen Bass came, and it's like, okay, let's support her. So you never know. Magic Johnson still in the future might be mayor of LA, because a lot of people talk about that.
Interesting stuff. Well, seems like he got too many business interests to go into politics.
Excuse me, who is president? Who is the president? We can never say that again.
No, what I'm saying, it shouldn't disqualify him. What I'm saying is that you said who is president, he's there to enrich himself, right? Magic, or somebody like Magic, you would think if he's going to be mayor of LA, he would want to devote his time and energy into doing what's right for the people of LA, right? Donald Trump can care less about the people of America.
Yeah.
So
and Magic loves LA. He goes
to
church
does.
Right down here at West Angeles Church of God in Christ. Him and Cookie are huge supporters of just a lot of things here locally. So when you look at somebody that you want to lead your city, you want it to be somebody that is a part of the fabric of your city, and he is that.
Well, you got that right. He absolutely loves LA. He could have easily when his career was over, gone back to Michigan. Cookie's from Michigan as well, and You know,
who wants
even
to go to Michigan? No, I'm
well,
sorry. I love Michigan. I love
well,
Michigan. But, you know, come on now. Come on now.
it's true. It's true. Look, hey.
Look, everybody's saying Magic for Mayor. They like the ring of it. They like it. And speaking of last note, which I think is an important headline we didn't touch. Speaking of mayors, Mayor Bass came out yesterday and announced that the person who started the Palisades fires had been arrested.
Yes.
So they do have a suspect for somebody who started the Palisades fire, and she gave her comments and remarks about that on yesterday.
And this guy who started the fire, it's a white guy. Did he say why he started the fire?
No, I mean,
No.
I just know he's been arrested.
Yeah.
And that was a huge deal for,
Yes.
you know, I mean, but the thing about it, he's been arrested. Now they have to prove he did it.
Yeah, but I thought there was a report that he did. They know for a fact it's him. I think he did say something about why he started it. I gotta look it up. But
right.
the like you said, the bottom line is he's in custody.
Been arrested. Yeah.
And the mayor, you know, that's good for her too. I'm sure that's a big weight off of her shoulder too.
Yes, a suspect has been apprehended, and we'll continue to track that story and give you the details as they continue to unravel.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's get some black facts going here.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So on this date in 1806, Benjamin Banneker died at the age of 74. He was born free in Maryland in 1731. He was self-taught. He was a self-taught mathematician and astronomer. He challenged Thomas Jefferson on slavery and later helped plan the nation's capital, famously reproducing lost blueprints in 2 days.
Nice. I remember we had a Benjamin Banneker Hall on the campuses of Grambling State University. That's how I learned who Benjamin Banneker was. And that's what I love about an HBCU. The dorms are named after historical Black people. And so you want to know who is that person, and then you go look them up. That's another fun thing about going to a HBCU. You learn Black history just by where you live at.
There you go.
All right. And on this day in 2009, President Barack Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize for what the Norwegian Nobel Committee called. Now check this out. Think about where we are today. And this is why he won. It says for his extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperations between peoples.
And so tomorrow, Donald Trump will learn whether or not he will be a Nobel recipient. He's been campaigning for it. And so tomorrow, in fact, Niele, we're going to find out if
it doesn't even matter. We don't care. Today, folks, because I know after I get off this, my social media post for today is the Nobel Prize winner. Today is another Barack Obama holiday, okay? And we need to make that go viral, okay? We need to make today, we can deputize today a holiday. Black America, Black America can deputize today is Barack Obama Nobel Peace Prize Day.
Didn't you already have a Barack Obama Day earlier this year?
It doesn't matter. We live, sometimes we live in the state of Wakanda, which means we make the rules. And that's today, right. We are deputizing it Barack Obama Nobel Peace Prize Day. Make it go viral. Tag Trump on Truth Social. Tag him. Okay. Let him know that today is Barack Obama Nobel Peace Prize Day.
I don't think they're gonna do it on True Social. That's all his people, right? You gotta do it on
the other. You know what? Make them go crazy. In the words of Prince, let's go crazy. Let's go crazy.
Oh gosh, folks! Our Black-owned newspaper of the day is the Bakersfield News Observer. The newspaper has been providing rich history to Kern County for over 4 decades. It began in 1977, and the publishers believe that news moves fast, so they don't want you to miss a beat. With the Observer, you get real-time updates you can trust, right at your fingertips. So stay informed, stay ahead, stay empowered. That's their mission, and they boast that they bring you truth, not just once a day, but every hour, because to you, they say facts matter, and your trust means everything to them. So check out the Bakersfield News Observer.
Yeah, that's a great paper to follow online. I love how they deliver their news, especially on TikTok. I don't know how much longer we'll have TikTok for the U.S. takes over, but definitely one that I follow on social media. I love the way they deliver their news, and the way that they do it is it's so subtle that you don't know if it's black or white on. You know, it just rolls out, but it is black owned, and the news that comes out is from our perspective. So they do a really good job at their curation on how they deliver it and attract folks.
Yeah,
so
they also are part of a larger news group, 2 other Black papers with the Bakersfield paper as well. So that's a fantastic news organization there and newspaper that they have there. So check them out, as Niele said, and check out BlackPressUSA.
For real. And for the latest in Black news, you know who you should like. You should tell your friends to like and subscribe to. It's BlackPressUSA, where we are bringing you news from Capitol Hill, from all across the country, that is impacting your daily life and uplifting your spirits. So that's BlackPressUSA.com.
There you have it. And folks, tomorrow's Friday. Let's have some fun. Join us tomorrow and see what kind of trouble we can get into. See you then.
Obama Day.